Somewhere right now there's a kid who cannot sit still. Not, will not, cannot. The teacher has said his name 12 times this morning. His worksheet is blank, but his mind is running so fast in so many directions at once that the worksheet feels like being asked to stare at a wall while a thunderstorm happens inside his skull. And somewhere across town there is an adult version of that same kid, sitting in a meeting that could have been an email, unable to make herself care about the quarterly projections, unable to stop her leg from bouncing. She has 17 tabs open. She forgot to eat. She had an idea at 2 in the morning that felt like lightning and then lost the notebook. She is brilliant and exhausting. And she knows both of those things, and the second one is the one the world keeps reminding her of. We have a name for both of them. We call it ADHD, Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. The name itself is a verdict. Deficit, disorder, the very language, says something is missing. Something is broken. Something needs to be corrected back toward normal. But here's what that name never asks. Normal for what? Normal for when? Normal for which world exactly? Because this brain is not a new brain. It has been in the human population for as long as there have been humans, and the question nobody asked out loud is why. Why would a trait this common, this persistent exist at all if it was only ever a malfunction? Evolution is ruthless about removing things that do not work. If the ADHD brain was purely a liability, it should have disappeared long ago. The fact that it did not is a clue almost everyone is ignoring. The ADHD brain is not a broken farmer brain. It is a fully functional hunter brain operating in a world it was never built for. And once you look at the traits through that lens, something strange happens. The deficits start looking like features. Start with attention. The diagnosis says deficit. The lived experience says something different. It is not that attention is missing. It is that it works differently. A spotlight with a hair trigger that locks with extraordinary intensity onto whatever the brain flags as novel or urgent and goes completely dark on everything else. In a classroom, this is a catastrophe. But take that same system and drop it into a hunt. A hunt is not a spreadsheet. A hunt is a dynamic, shifting high-stakes environment where the relevant information is changing every few seconds, and the cost of missing something is immediate and physical. The rustle in the wrong direction, the shift in the wind, the animal that just changed course, the brain that cannot settle into passive, inattention that jolts to full alert at any flicker of novelty, is not broken in that context. It is the ideal brain. It is the brain you want at the front of the hunt. The ADHD attention system is a threat and opportunity. Detector running at maximum sensitivity. In the modern world, it feels like noise. In the ancient world, it was signal. It was the whole game. Then there is impulsivity, acting before thinking. In modern life, it costs people jobs and relationships and money. But consider what the alternative looks like in a hunt. The animal is there, right there, 30 meters. Wind is right. The moment is now. The hunter who stops to carefully deliberate does not get the animal. The moment lasted 2 seconds, and the deliberate thinker spent 3 of them deciding. The one who moved on instinct before the conscious mind caught up that hunter ate tonight. Impulsivity in a predictable environment is a liability. Impulsivity in a high-stakes, narrow window environment is a weapon. It is rapid commitment to action when the window is open. A tribe with people capable of that fast, decisive move is a tribe that eats. Now the hyperactivity, the restlessness, the body that cannot be still. In a chair, this is a disciplinary issue. In a landscape requiring 15 miles a day, it is called endurance. The ADHD body is built to move. The restlessness is a system calibrated for sustained physical activity across variable terrain. The hunter who cannot stop moving covers more ground finds. The water source first spots the herd, first identifies the threat before it becomes an ambush. We put that body in a chair for 8 hours and diagnose it for not wanting to be there, which is like putting a greyhound in a studio apartment and diagnosing it for wanting to run. Then there is hyperfocus, the thing ADHD people rarely mention because it sounds like a contradiction. When the ADHD brain finds the right problem, it locks completely. The world falls away. Hours disappear. The person who could not make themselves care about a spreadsheet for 20 minutes will work on the thing they care about for 9 and hours without noticing it got dark. This is the same attention system doing what it does. Maximum intensity on whatever it has flagged as worth flagging. When the brain makes that call on something, the world does not value, you look disordered. When it makes that call on something, the world does value, you look like a genius. The difference is not the brain. It is the terrain. Einstein, Tesla, Da Vinci. Every name on the list of people who changed human history through obsessive, focused work on a problem nobody else was taking seriously enough. We do not have their medical records, but we have their biographies, and the pattern is familiar to anyone who has spent time around an ADHD brain operating at full capacity on a problem it has decided matters. Now here's the honest part, and it matters. ADHD is real. The challenges are real. The gap between what a person with ADHD can do and what the world requires right now, today in this actual century, is real and painful. The lost jobs, the failed relationships, the half-finished things. The shame of knowing you are smart enough and still not able to do the thing everyone else manages without thinking. That is not romantic. That is not a superpower. That is a daily difficulty that deserves real support, and in some cases medication that works and is nothing to be ashamed of. The spectrum is wide. For some people, ADHD looks like the focused specialist we have been describing. For others, it comes with profound challenges that no amount of prehistoric storytelling makes okay. For those people, support is what is needed, not a reframe. But here's what is indisputably true. The ADHD brain exists in enormous numbers, 5 to 10% of the human population. A trait that common, that heritable, that persistent across all of human history is not a mistake. It is a strategy, one of the ways human cognition diversified itself across the range of problems a species trying to survive in an unpredictable world actually faced. The tribe with only patient, methodical farmers was fragile, very good at farming and very bad at everything requiring fast adaptation to an unexpected problem. The tribe with only impulsive, restless hunters was incomplete. You needed both, probably in roughly the proportions they still appear in the human population today. The fact that we built a civilization rewarding one profile almost exclusively and pathologizing the other is not evidence that the pathologized profile is broken. It is evidence that we built a very specific kind of world and then forgot we built it. So if you are the person whose leg will not stop bouncing, whose tabs are always multiplying, who had the idea at 2 a.m. and cannot find the notebook, who has been told since you were 7 that you are smart, but you just need to try harder to focus, who knows that trying harder to focus is not the thing that is missing? Here is what is worth holding. Your brain was not designed for this room. It was not designed for this chair or this schedule, or this system of deferred reward and patient compliance. It was designed for something older and faster and more alive than any of that. It was designed for a world that needed the person who never stops scanning, the one who moves before the moment closes, the one who locks onto a problem with the force of gravity, when the problem is the right one. That is not a deficit. That has never been a deficit. It is a different architecture for a different kind of problem. The hunter did not become less valuable. The hunt just moved indoors, and we have not yet figured out how to tell the difference between a brain that is broken and a brain that is simply waiting for the right terrain. We did not build this world in spite of minds like that. We built it partly because of them, and then built systems around the result that those same minds now struggle to fit inside. It was never broken. It was the hunter.